Hi there ladies and gentlemen, this is Eastwood for Life fan, and this is a video of my Blu-ray and DVD pickups for the month of April 2018. Quite a few to show off, as I took full advantage of a sale from the Kino label back in March. And in this update I picked up quite a few westerns, and also I had a few freebies sent from two guys from the US who have two great channels, and I will shout them out and leave the links to their awesome channels in this video. So we will start off with the pickups from Kino, and these titles, the price ranged from $8 to $12 each. And the first one I picked up is The Indian Fighter, a mid-50s American Western starring Kirk Douglas. And also in this movie is Walter Matthau. And those who have watched my videos will know that I am a huge spaghetti western fan, as well as American westerns. But a lot of the American westerns that I have watched and have in my collection are mainly movies from the mid-60s onwards, as I much prefer the more darker and grittier westerns. But I'm starting to pick up more westerns from the 1940s and 50s, and this is The Indian Fighter starring Kirk Douglas. Another mid-50s western. This is The Kentuckian starring Burt Lancaster, and also in this western Walter Matthau is featured. And another Burt Lancaster movie, this is The Scalp Hunters, and this is a late 1960s American Western, and this has a nice artwork cover, and Shelley Winters and Telly Savalas is in this movie. This title does sound familiar to me, but I'm not 100% sure if I have seen this before. And this movie is directed by Sidney Pollack. And the Kino label of late has been releasing a lot of American and spaghetti westerns, which is great to see, as I'm not complaining. And this one I definitely haven't seen, Jewel at Diablo starring James Garner and Sidney Poitier. That looks like a real cool cover. And also in this movie, Dennis Weaver, who was in the TV series McCloud. This one's an early 70s spaghetti western, Captain Apache, starring Lee Van Cleef. Not one of his better movies. And this was filmed in Spain, and it was a British and Spanish co-production. And Lee Van Cleef actually wore a ridiculous hairpiece in this movie, in Captain Apache. This spaghetti western is The Man Called Noon, starring Richard Crenna. And this was filmed in Spain also, but this was a British production. And Richard Crenna, I always remembered him first playing the character of Colonel Troutman in the Rambo movies. Never seen this one before. The Man Called Noon. And the last western I picked up in the Kino sale is this movie starring Gregory Peck, early 70s movie named Billy Two Hats. This is directed by Ted Kotcheff and he was the director who made the original Rambo movie First Blood. So I thought it was worth a blind buy at a very nice price. Billy Two Hats. And the last title that I picked up in the Kino sale that was just slightly a little bit more cheaper than elsewhere, and there's this 80s TV series The Master, starring an aging Lee Van Cleef, and this is the complete series. As I do remember this being screened in the UK, as it wasn't on very long, as this only ran for 13 episodes. And Lee Van Cleef plays a ninja master. He goes from town to town with his young pupil, where they help people out in need in fighting against the odds. And this was created by Michael Sloan, who made The Equalizer. So a fairly similar storyline. The Master, starring Lee Van Cleef. And all these titles were sent to me by a good friend of mine from the US, who I've talked about many a times, who we've had a trade package series, Toddy Walnuts, and he sent me these Kino titles, as Kino doesn't ship to the UK, and he was glad to send these off. And in the actual same box he added a few freebies for us, which I'm going to show. And he sent me 3 titles, 2 westerns, and the first western is a western called Hour of the Gun, starring James Garner, Jason Robards and Robert Ryan. Never seen this western before. It's released by Twilight Time. And anybody who's familiar with the Twilight Time label know that their titles are only released in 3,000 units. It's a great cast and a nice artwork cover. I look forward to seeing this late 60s American Western directed by John Sturges, who made The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape. So look forward to checking this title out. Much appreciated in you, Todd, sending this title. And he also sent me Lawman, starring Burt Lancaster, Robert Ryan and Lee J. Cobb. And this is a western that I've had on my wanted list. And also in this movie stars Robert Duvall. And this one's actually directed by British director Michael Winner. That has a cool cover. Lawman. So that was 2 westerns that Todd sent us. And the third title that he sent us was the Dario Argento 80s giallo movie, Opera. And I think I commented on a video of Todd's saying that I need to pick up Opera. And he said that he had a spare copy. And in the kindness of his heart, he wanted to send this to us as a freebie in with the Kino titles that I bought. So many thanks for sending these freebies out, Todd E. Walnuts. And I will leave the link to his great channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to him, please do so. You will not be disappointed. One of the top collectors and nicest guys within our YouTube community. And I picked up another American Western on Amazon, Gunfight at the OK Corral, starring Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. They made quite a few films together. classic American Western that I haven't seen in a while, and this was missing from my collection. This movie also is directed by John Sturges, and you can pick this up for under £10, a very reasonable price for a great Western in gunfight at the OK Corral. This Mario Bava spaghetti western is Roy Colt and Winchester Jack, and many of you would know that Mario Bava made many horror and giallo movies. A lot of the Italian directors flirted with a few different genres in sword and sandal, spaghetti western, Eurocrime and Italian horror movies. I haven't checked this one out yet, and this is on the Kino label, and this stars Brett Halsey, and this is more of a spaghetti western comedy in Roy Colt and Winchester Jack. A out of print title that I've been after for quite a few months is the out of print Indicator limited edition release of the new Centurions, starring George C. Scott and Stacy Keach, and this is based on a novel. Great movie, this one, really enjoyed this one, and this is the limited edition version. It comes with the booklet, DVD and Blu-ray, and I had to get this from a US seller as I couldn't find one in the UK, as Indicator said that they'd sold out of the limited editions of this movie. But a very good cop drama of LA cops on the beat, and if you can pick this title up, please do so, as it will go for crazy money, and it's a very highly recommended cop drama in the new Centurions. Really enjoyed the role that George C. Scott played in this movie. And speaking of cop movies, I upgraded to this title, The 7-Ups, starring Roy Scheider, early 70s cop thriller of a New York detective. Great car chases in this. Definitely, I will have this up there with some of the great car chase scenes, like in Bullet and the French Connection, and it is actually from the producer of Bullet and the French Connection. But a highly enjoyable cop thriller in The 7-Ups, starring Roy Scheider. Also another Roy Scheider movie I picked up. This is 52 Pickup, starring Roy Scheider and Anne Margaret. And on the cover it says, his wife, his mistress, his career, a deadly trap. And this is a movie directed by John Frankenheimer. Mid-80s movie, this one. I had seen this back in the VHS days, but can't remember too much about this. And you can pick this up for a fairly cheap price. This is the DVD Blu-ray release, dual format release, and it does come in with a nice booklet of 52 Pickup. A horror classic that I had to pick up that was missing from my collection. That's the late 70s classic directed by Wes Craven, The Hills Have Eyes. And I do like that title there. The headline, The Lucky Ones Died First, and this is the Arrow Limited Collector's Edition, and it came with a beautiful book and movie poster and the Blu-ray. I do like these little releases that Arrow put out. I've got to be honest, back in the VHS days, you know, I thought this movie was okay, as it didn't have a whole lot of blood and gore in this movie. But years later, when I watched it again on DVD, I really enjoyed it even more second time round, and thought to myself years later, I need to pick this one up if there was a nice edition. So this is The Hills Have Eyes. Everyone has seen this movie about a family that break down in a desert only to get tortured and attacked by a group of cannibals. A horrific storyline and great classic horror movie in The Hills Have Eyes. A underrated Vietnam movie I picked up here is Hamburger Hill, and this came out around the time when Platoon and Full Metal Jacket got released, and those two movies were highly acclaimed, but this one was a good one, Hamburger Hill. The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that I've been eyeing up, this steelbook version, and this is Total Recall, the triple play edition. Love this movie, got this for a great price, sealed. Total Recall, definitely one of Arnie's better movies, where he plays Quaid, who suffers from having dreams from another life in Mars. Also Sharon Stone is in this movie, but a great Arnold Schwarzenegger sci-fi movie, and far better than the remake with Colin Farrell. This is Total Recall, the original. Early 90s movie here, Boys in the Hood, directed by John Singleton, starring Ice Cube, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Lawrence Fishburne, about life in South Central LA. Very good movie, this one. Was very impressed when I watched this back in the 90s with Ice Cube, rap star turned actor. Very good movie, Boys in the Hood. And this classic war movie, been missing from my collection. Steven Spielberg film starring Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, with quite a few stars in this: Ed Burns, Matt Damon and a young Vin Diesel. Great war movie, and definitely one of the best opening scenes to a movie. The beach scene, Saving Private Ryan. A classic war movie that shouldn't be missing in anybody's movie collection. Horror remake, Friday the 13th. I picked up the Paramount Friday the 13th set, and I need to pick up the final few movies of the franchise. But this is the remake of one of the most famous serial killers, Jason Voorhees, and this is Friday the 13th, the remake. I know a lot of horror remakes can be hit or miss, but I thought I'd give this one a go. The Clint Eastwood movie that I picked up, this is Trouble with the Curve. Clint Eastwood, Amy Adams, Justin Timberlake and John Goodman are in this movie. And this movie is kind of like a father-daughter drama. And Clint Eastwood stars as a baseball scout. Not a bad movie, but not one of his great ones. But always good to see Clint Eastwood in a role, as these days he's more into producing and directing. And this is Trouble with the Curve, and I will be soon doing my Clint Eastwood collection in a few parts. So I'm just picking up a few of the titles that are missing from my collection. TV series that I picked up. This is season 1 of Better Call Saul, and this TV series is about the attorney Saul Goodman, who was in the great TV series of Breaking Bad, which one of the best TV series ever made. And they're now up to 3 seasons now, I think. And originally I wasn't going to pick this one up, but picked this up for a nice cheap price in my local CX store. And Mike, who's the hitman from the Breaking Bad series, played by Jonathan Banks, once I found out he was going to be in this, I wanted to pick this up as he was one of my favourite characters from the Breaking Bad series. So we'll check this series out, Better Call Saul. And on to the DVDs that I picked up. And I got this freebie sent to us from a buddy of mine, Horrific Nightmares, JM, who we know as Jason. He sent me The Green Beret starring John Wayne. I think this is the earliest movie based on the Vietnam War that was made. And I think I commented on one of his videos saying I needed to pick up the Green Berets, and I think he said that he had a spare copy and he was happy enough to send this movie out to us, as I've been picking up quite a few John Wayne movies now and again. And if this is a good movie, I most probably will upgrade this to Blu-ray. But if you haven't checked out Horrific Nightmares JM, please check his channel out. I will leave the link to his great channel also, as he does a lot of reviews in horror movies and rankings, as he's definitely a horror head that knows his info. So many thanks for sending the Green Berets John Wayne movie out to us, Jason. Many thanks. And a spaghetti western bootleg that I picked up. This is, they call him Amen, early 70s spaghetti western comedy starring Luke Miranda. There's no official release with this in the English audio, and Luke Miranda is actually in a movie that's just got released by Code Red, named The Violent Professionals, a Eurocrime movie which I recommend. So if you guys see that movie, that is worth picking up. But another spaghetti western bootleg that will go into my collection. They called him Amen. And the last DVD that I picked up is this movie Bird, starring Forrest Whitaker, who plays the jazz icon Charlie Parker. And this movie is directed by Clint Eastwood, who's well known for being a huge jazz fan, and he wanted to direct this movie. Forrest Whitaker, great actor. There's no Blu-ray release of this movie, so I was happy enough to pick this up on DVD. And this will go into my Clint Eastwood collection. So that is all the Blu-ray and DVD pickups for the month of April 2018. And many thanks to the new subscribers to the channel. Always great to hear all the comments. I try to get back and reply, and it's always good to interact with you guys. And I hope you are all well, and I look forward to the next video. So take care, stay healthy, and keep on collecting.